Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. But I was like Matt and I are gonna sit.
There.
Want to sit up front here?
I guess so.
It would look good, that's all.
You got room back here? Oh, yeah. That is the song.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Enforcement Branch Conservation Officers Achievement Ceremony. A few housekeeping items we'll go through. The bathrooms are located out in the front lobby to your right, and just follow the signs down the hallway. The fire exits, one is located back where you came in. The other one is in the southeast corner of the building. There's also a professional photographer here at the event, and at the end of the ceremony, we encourage you to take advantage of that and get some photographs taken with your friends and family. This is all being covered by the enforcement branch. We'll get started shortly. Please remain seated while the parade marches in.
March. Parade runs. Runs. Parade runs. Runs. Up front, Kennedy.
Please stand for the arrival of the flag party and the playing of O Canada.
Flag party commander, march on. Flags. Flag party. Flag commander.
This morning's reviewing party consists of the Honorable Graydon Smith, Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, and he will be accompanied by Rick Watchhorn, the Director of the Enforcement Branch. Please remain standing for the arrival of the review party. Please be seated. We respectfully acknowledge that we are located on the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. Thunder Bay is located on the traditional land of the Fort William First Nations, signatory to the Robson Superior Treaty of 1850. We acknowledge the history that many nations hold in the area, and we are committed to a relationship with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples based on the principles of mutual trust, respect, reciprocity, and collaboration in the spirit of reconciliation. I would like to call upon Elder Beatrice Twants Hines from Beektagog First Nations, who will provide a blessing and a teaching for us today.
Good morning. So it's an honor to be invited here today and to be a part of this ceremony. I was thinking, wow, this is awesome, really disciplined, and it's good. Okay, so I've been asked to say a prayer and a teaching. So hello again, Creator, ancestors, all my relations. My name is White Horse Spirit Woman. I'm also called Big Eagle Woman. My mom is from the Bear Clan. My dad is from the Deer Clan. My given name is Beatrice. Chimigwich for Mother Earth and all that she gives, the plants, the medicines, the animals, the water. Chimigwich to our Father Sky, Grandfather Sun, and Grandmother Moon, and all of your creation. We are here today to recognize and celebrate Peace Officers Exemplary Service, Officer of the Year, and 18 graduates. We thank you for the support of family and friends and all who have provided the training and education to the new recruits. We ask you to continue to bless the graduates through their continued learning. Give them the wisdom and guidance to overcome new challenges in the roles of conservation officers and to safeguard the public interest by leading and delivering professional regulatory protection of Ontario's natural resources. We thank you for the beautiful gift of today and again for all of your creation. Miigwech, 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 miigwech. So I was given 10 minutes, and also I like to share some teachings on the medicine wheel. This is a medicine wheel here. there's lots of teachings on the medicine wheel. I could go a whole week on teaching, but I only given little time. 4 colors of the medicine wheel. There's four teachings, 4 aspects of being: spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental. But when I was given my spirit name over 25 years ago, I also dreamt about colors. So those are the colors that I dreamt about, the medicine wheel. Then I went fasting for a song in regards to the medicine wheel. So that's what I want to share with you today. Lots of teachings in this song. Miigwech. In the east direction of the medicine wheel, the eagle flies high and its vision is far and wide. It is spring and a new day has begun. A time of birth and innocence as our children play. We offer tobacco to the spirits of the land and the animals that we need. The grandfather gives our humility and respect. Spiritually, we give thanks to Giji many too. Way higher, hey, 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 yo. Way higher, hey, 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 yo. Way higher, hey, yo. In the south direction of the medicine wheel. Sorry, it's just, I think it's this. In the south direction of the medicine wheel. The white horse carries us as we journey on this path. It is summer in the warmth of a noonday sun. A time of youth and learning in our youth. We use cedar medicine to help us heal and to purify and cleanse. The grandfather gifts are honesty and love. Emotionally, we give thanks to Giji many too. Way higher, hey, 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 yo. Way higher, hey, 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 yo. Way higher, hey, yo. In the west direction of the medicine wheel. The bear teaches us strength and the turtle to go within. It is autumn in a crimson setting sun. A time of joy and no, a time of showing example in our adult life. With sacred sage we smudge places and ourselves in ceremonies as we pray. The grandfather gift is one called bravery. Physically, we give thanks to Gidgy many too. Way higher, hey, 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 oh. Way higher, hey, 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 oh. Way higher, hey, oh. In the north direction of the medicine wheel, the wolf teaches us about family and unity. It is winter and grandmother moon shines bright. A time our elders shared their life's wisdom. We use sweet grass, the hair of our mother earth, that calms us on our way. The grandfather gives our wisdom and truth. Mentally, we give thanks to Gidgy many too. Way higher, hey, 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 oh. Way higher, hey, 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 oh. Way higher, hey, oh. Way higher, hey, oh. Miigwech, miigwech. And I do have to leave. I have to go to attend another event. So, miigwech.
I would now like to call upon Matthew Ork, Provincial Enforcement Operations Manager, who will be speaking to the Peace Officers Exemplary Service Medal.
Morning. Within Canada's honor systems, there are a number of exemplary service medals that recognize the efforts of officers dedicated to preserving Canada's public safety through long and outstanding service. Peace Officer Exemplary Service Medal was created by the Governor General in June of 2004 to recognize peace officers who have served in an exemplary manner, characterized by good conduct, industry, and efficiency. Recipients must have completed 20 years of exemplary service, including at least 10 years served in the performance of duties involving potential risk. Conservation officers have authorities of inspection, arrest, search, and seizure under various statutes they enforce, including the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Act, Fisheries Act, and the Migratory Birds Convention Act. This is the 15th year the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry Conservation Officers are being awarded this medal under the authority of the Governor General's Office and recognition of 20 years of exemplary service. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipients. Tim Cattle, Staff Sergeant, North Bay Enforcement Unit. Graham Gordon, Staff Superintendent, Training and Recruitment. Mike Hamilton, Conservation Officer, Remote Piloted Aircraft Systems Operations Coordinator. Paul Manuel, Sergeant, Wawa Chapleau Enforcement Unit. Ken Turi, Staff Sergeant, Nipigon Enforcement Unit. Attend this ceremony. Carl Alexander, Retired Conservation Officer, James Bay Enforcement Unit. Matthew Brooks, Conservation Officer, Kenora Red Lake Enforcement Unit. Colin Cottenham, former Sergeant, Bancroft Enforcement Unit. Mark Halley, Conservation Officer, Guelph Enforcement Unit. Sean Inslee, Conservation Officer, Aylmer Enforcement Unit. Jeff Malloy, Sergeant, Kenora Red Lake Enforcement Unit. Grant Painter, Staff Sergeant, Fort Francis Enforcement Unit. Reg Platt, Detective, Intelligence and Investigation Services. Craig Smith, Sergeant, Enforcement Services Section. Rick Williams, Retired Staff Sergeant, Midhurst Enforcement Unit. Rob Winter, Conservation Officer, Dryden Sioux Lookout Enforcement Unit. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce Rick Watchhorn, Director of the Enforcement Branch, who will be providing a description of the Enforcement Branch Officer of the Year Award.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks, Graham. Today marks another first for the ministry's enforcement branch, where we're celebrating service and outstanding professionalism, along with the graduation of Ontario's newest conservation officers. We've just recognized several officers with Peace Officer Exemplary Service medals, and now I'm proud to introduce the Ontario Conservation Officer of the Year Award. The award is a special commendation by the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, recognizing a deserving conservation officer for their outstanding professional efforts in protecting Ontario's natural resources and protecting the safety of those enjoying them. All of the ministry's conservation officers are eligible to be nominated for this award by any member of the ministry's enforcement branch. This award is not only an opportunity to provide recognition for an officer among their peers, It sets a standard of achievement for all officers to aspire to provincial, national, and international recognition of Ontario's conservation officers and their achievements. It's now my honor to introduce the Honorable Graydon Smith. Minister Smith serves as the Ontario Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry Minister and is the member of Provincial Parliament for Parry Sound, Muskoka. We're honored to have you here with us today, Minister. We're very proud to be able to show you our new recruits and have you present the Ontario Conservation Officer of the Year Award. Welcome, Minister.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. Rick, thanks for those kind words of introduction. I pulled into the wrong parking lot this morning and saw you all out back, ready to go. I wanted to pop out and start talking to you then, but we have to do everything according to the official protocol today. So just a few remarks, if you will. I'm again really honored to be here this morning to celebrate what is a very special day. I know for all of you, and for many of you, this is the start of what I hope will be long and very rewarding careers as conservation officers. So I want to congratulate all the new officers and thank you for choosing to protect our natural resources and public safety in Ontario. You are now part of a highly trained team that will educate the public and uphold the natural resource laws of Ontario. And you're joined here today by family and friends and fellow conservation officers who were and will continue to support you through your career. We just honored some outstanding officers who have served in an exemplary manner, characterized by good conduct and hard work, sometimes involving risk. And again, I want to congratulate everyone who's a recipient today and congratulate all of our conservation officers for the fantastic work that they do every day. Thank you. Again, very pleased to be here today with Rick Watchhorn, Director of the Ministry's Enforcement Branch, as we recognize, as he teed up, the ministry's prestigious Officer of the Year award. And Tim Cattle has worked for the ministry for 33 years, more than 2 decades of that time as a conservation officer. And being a conservation officer is something he dreamed about doing since he was a child. And once he got his badge, Tim quickly advanced through the ranks and now serves and excels as a staff sergeant in the North Bay District, not too far away from my home. But it's not just his determination and boots on the ground work that set him apart. It's also his compassion, his dependability, integrity, and ability to inspire that has him standing before us today. The MNRF Conservation of the Year Award acknowledges officers like Tim who demonstrate the highest level of dedication and professionalism in service to Ontario. It also pays tribute to the high quality of conservation officers we are so fortunate to have in this ministry. Staff Sergeant Cattle, Tim, it's my great honor to present you with the ministry's Conservation Officer of the Year Award. Congratulations on your extraordinary success, and thank you for your dedication to protecting our natural resources while keeping the public safe. So just again, congratulations, Tim, and really quickly to close, thank you to everyone who had me to be part of this special day. And again, to each and every one of you who will continue to serve the people of this province, I offer my very humble appreciation and gratitude. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
I would now like to call upon Conservation Officer Jarrett McIntyre to speak on behalf of the 2023 Conservation Officer class.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jarrett McIntyre, and I'm a conservation officer based out of Red Lake. I'd like to first start off by acknowledging the lands that we're on here today, the Anishinaabe Nation and traditional territory of the Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robertson Superior Treaty of 1850. I want to thank everyone for attending today, whether it be in the audience or remotely, family, friends, colleagues, as well as our Provincial Enforcement Operations Manager, Matt Ork, our Director of the Enforcement Branch, Rick Watchhorn, and the Honorable Graydon Smith, Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry. This is a proud moment, not only for myself, but for my fellow recruits, our family of conservation officers, the branch, as well as the province. I'm extremely proud to be part of this family and wear the uniform before you today. Our family began in 1892 when there was one chief game warden with 4 part-time game wardens for the entire province. In 1948, we got our name as conservation officers, and we are the longest standing provincial enforcement agency. And for 131 years, we've been passionate about and dedicated to protecting the province's natural resources, which I'd like to thank them for, so people like myself can enjoy what this great province has to offer. Now I can speak on behalf of my fellow recruits that we will all carry that same passion and dedication throughout our careers as conservation officers. Since I was a small child, my dream was to become a conservation officer in the province of Ontario. And like many of us, that dream began when I met my first conservation officer. It was at the Toronto Sportsman Show. I don't remember his name, but when he explained to me that he actually got paid to check hunters and anglers, as well as protect the natural resources in the province, I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do. I met most of my fellow recruits at what is called level 1 training. Some I knew from school and previous work experience, but this is where we started to learn how to do the job, but also making friendships that won't only last a career, but a lifetime. And I have great memories of level 1, from how we started our first scenarios, how we were guided and critiqued by our instructors and senior officers, and when we all shook hands and departed to our work units. I can recall a time we were traveling to a training facility in the early spring, which was almost the opener of turkey season. Given the nature of the people in the bus, we all had our heads on swivels to try and spot turkeys in fields. One particular recruit from the Northwest, where there are no turkeys, spotted one in an old hayfield. And it just so happened that the bus driver was crossing train tracks. And I'll never forget the look on the bus driver's face when the recruit stood up and yelled, "Wait." Probably not your best timing, Griff. And as well as our first few times doing drill, turning and marching like newborn fawns, we've come a long way since those days. And for all of us, it's been our lifelong dream to serve the province as conservation officers. Some of us have landed that at a younger age than others, but a common trend remains the same. We all bring different skill sets, job, life experience, and which makes our team, in my opinion, the strongest, most diverse law enforcement agency in the country. It truly amazes me to see the different skill sets, having worked with officers from one end of the province to the other. From Wheatley, Ontario, which is in the southwest on Lake Erie, where I worked as a port observer and worked alongside conservation officers, to Red Lake, where I am now, which is about a 21-hour drive north of Toronto. I've never been so humbled by the incredible talent that all our officers bring to the table. You all have my word that myself and my fellow recruits will put forth the same effort to mold ourselves into amazing officers like our colleagues. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our instructors, provincial training specialists, as well as our recruitment and training manager for their efforts throughout level 1 and more recently level 2. The amount of time and effort spent arranging accommodations and getting everyone all in the same place at the same time, and for how smoothly everything went, truly leaves me without words. Great job, and thank you. I'd also like to speak to my fellow recruits. You're not only my partners in the field, but my friends and now family. The moments we've shared together from April 11th, the beginning of level 1, until now, are ones I will truly cherish and that will stay with me forever. Being together with a group of such like-minded individuals is the best feeling a person could ask for, and it truly is the foundation of being part of a team. And with that, I know myself and my fellow recruits are excited to work with the more experienced officers around the province to build ourselves into our own amazing officers. And finally, our enforcement branch mission is to safeguard the public interest by leading and delivering professional regulatory protection of Ontario's natural resources. As a resource user, a conservation officer, and as a spokesperson for the new recruits, as well as the uniform of officers before me and ones that will join our team in the future, you can all rest assured that we will do just that. Thank you.
Please. and you.
We're now going to move on to the badge presentation portion of the ceremony. In 1890, there was the appointment of a commission to investigate dwindling game and fish resources. In 1892, after a Fish and Game Commission report identified outspoken indictments of resource conditions and a long list of recommendations to prevent abuse, protect resource, and to establish an effective enforcement program, a chief warden and 4 part-time field officers were put in place, followed by 392 deputy wardens, which were appointed. The deputy wardens were each provided with a badge of office and instructed to keep a sharp lookout for violations of the game laws in their immediate neighborhoods. In 1907, there was an increase in game wardens to 7, and with the formation of the Department of Game and Fisheries, they became the first full-time wardens enforcing game and fish laws. In 1920, 60 full-time overseers. There were 16 full-time overseers with 7 district superintendents. Deputies would now serve as unpaid volunteers. Uniforms were in short supply and officers scrapped together what they could from police agencies and other enforcement agencies to make themselves look official. In 1946, the Department of Fish and Game incorporated into the Departments of Lands and Forests. In 1948, the title changed from overseer game warden to conservation officers. The conservation officers were issued a nondescript nickel-plated disc. In 1953, conservation officers received a traditional shield badge inlaid with sky blue and red enamel. It was a huge morale booster after the 1948 first CO badge. This shield tradition continued with the reorganization of lands and forests to the OM&R in 1971. And in 1991, conservation officers were first issued the gold, green, and blue shield with French, and English wording that they are being provided now. The badges will be presented by Director Rick Watchhorn. Graduating officers will be called upon by file. Please hold your applause until after all the badges have been presented. I would now like to call upon Matthew Jessup, Griffin Garuk, Patrick Filion.
Wow. Son. Quick, march. File. Right. Turn. Quick. March.
Cameron McLean, Talon Hadley, Nicholas Brancatella.
File. Right. Turn. Quick. March.
James Viano, Bailey Walker, Carter Gagain.
Attention. Quick. March. File. Halt. right turn. Quick march.
Callie McMurray, Ben Higgins, Natasha Bosnick. Richard DePaulson, Levi Weber, Anthony Beaucaire Cameron.
Right turn. Quick march.
Chris Moskal, Duncan Hill, and Jared McIntyre. Please join me in congratulating the 2023 graduating class of Ontario Conservation Officers. Just wanted to say thank you to all the instructors, the honor guard, the bagpiper Ian McGale, and the provincial training unit for coordinating this training and previous trainings completed by these wonderful officers over the past year. Please stand for the departure of the viewing party and the dismissal of the parade.
Flags.
Now out in the front foyer, there will be photographers to take some pictures in front of the banner with friends and family, whatever you would like. There's water out there as well. So please enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you for coming and please be safe.